Hello Math 133 students. In this video I'm going to give you some hints and advice for Chapter 3 Project 1. So let me click on that project so you can see it. So it says we're going to open the Google document at this link. We're going to make a copy and download it, and then we're going to fill out the document and either share the URL, which is what I'm going to show you, or upload a PDF. Okay, so here we have this Google document, but it's not your Google document. It's mine since I'm the lead faculty. So you are going to click File and you're going to make a copy. So click File, make a copy. You have to be in Google, in your Google account. So, and I would recommend Chrome as your browser for while you do this, because then you can see if you're in your Google account. Because in the top right corner, if you let your mouse hover or your cursor hover over that little circular picture, it should have your account listed, which it does for me. So that's great. All right, so I'm going to click File and I'm going to make a copy. All right, so here we are in our file, and I'm going to type my name since I can see it's going to need to be there. So type your name right here. And it says find a publicly available data set on StatCrunch that is interesting to you. Note that you have to access StatCrunch with your Pearson MyStatLab username and password. Okay, so you're going to your data set needs to have one quantitative variable with a lot of numbers and variabilities and repetition. And that's really easy to do because most of these data sets have numbers. So data sets right here. So if I click on data set, there are 5,000 pages of data. So you can type all sorts of things. So I'm going to open a couple of these so you can see what they look like. But let's say you're interested in baseball. So you type baseball and boy, have you got options. All sorts of options. Now remember, you want to pick a data set that's large. You don't want to see a small number over here on the right for the size. So you want to see a really big one. Oops, I just made it go order. I made it put in order from size from largest to smallest. So you can see different things. If you're interested in soccer, there you go, soccer, which is also known as football in all countries except the US. So football is right there. Sports are really key. Cars and vehicles usually have a lot of things. If you type auto, you should be able to see all sorts of stuff. So those ones I know are data sets that usually are pretty good. But again, don't go for things that are small. No, no, no. Right? Go for big ones. But you can find all sorts of data sets. But what you're looking for is a column that has numbers in it. That's all you need. One column with a lot of numbers. That's it. So this movie budget one, that'll work. And I'm sure you can look up movies. You can look up Marvel versus DC. There's all sorts of stuff you can look up. This Thanksgiving one, however, was all words. There is a little bit of numbers over here, but it's got a lot of words in it too. So I would say no to this data set. This data set does not have what we want. So boo to the Thanksgiving one. No good. But you can roam around, find something that interests you. I'm going to work off of baseball, apparently. Okay, so we've got all these baseball players and we have all these different things. So baseball is particularly statistics heavy sport. It always has been. So we have our at-bats, we have our runs, we have our hits, second base, third base, home runs, all that good stuff. You kind of have to know what these things stand for at the top. So that would be key to figure that out. Right? See if you can figure it out. If you can't explain it, then you should pick a different data set. You want something that would be easy for you to understand what's happening. And I should add back here, sometimes they've included some info. So you can click the read more and you can kind of see what some of the things are that they're standing for. So that can be helpful over there. And that's also available often here. Let's see, I think it's under data. If I go to properties, there it is. So if you go to properties under data, sometimes you can see the description right there. Okay, so that helps. All right, so let's see what they want. So they want to know what data set we chose. So I chose this baseball data set, and you're welcome to choose this data set as well. You just can't do what I'm going to do. So I'm going to use, I don't know. I'm going to pick one of these. And so when I pick it, when I choose it, I'll choose at-bats. So I'll choose at-bats and I'll work off of that. So you can't choose at-bats, A-B. You can choose anything else. Okay, so I want to get the URL, which is up here. So if you kind of go up here and highlight all of this. The pound sign at the end is just because I've done something in here since then. So you can either highlight it or not highlight it. It's not going to hurt anything. So I'm hitting Control C, or if you're on a Mac, Command C, or you can right click on it and copy. And then you go back to your document, and under in the box for number 1, you click in the box and you hit paste, Control V or Command V on a Mac. And you hit the space bar afterwards, and poof, it's an active hyperlink. For this, you type in why, that data set is interesting to you, right? Maybe you don't like baseball, so don't pick a baseball one. There's plenty of stuff to choose from. Okay, so talk about why it's interesting to you, talk about it. All right, now we're going to use StatCrunch to find only the mean, median, and mode in one output table. Okay, one table, so we have to do it all at once. Okay, well, from the notes we learned to find things like the mean, we go to Stat, Summary Stat, Columns, because of course the at-bats are one of the columns. So all the data is in one column. So we hit Stat, Summary Stat, Columns. We scroll down in here to find the column we're interested in, which for us is at-bats, AB. Now again, you can't use that. You can use any of the other ones. You just can't use the at-bats. Well, maybe not any of the other ones. Maybe not all of them are any good, but that's up to you. Okay, so now down here, you want to choose the mean, right? So you click on mean, and that's great. But if you click on median, it disappears, the mean, and you want them both to be there. I want the mean and the median. So the way to do that is to click on the mean, so you have mean showing up over on the right. Scroll down a little bit, there's the median. And if you let your mouse hover, your cursor hover, it says select more than one with Control click or Shift click. We don't want Shift click. Shift click gets all of them. That's not what we're interested in. We want Control click. So we're going to scroll down, hold down the Control button, and click. And on a Mac, it could very well be a Command click. I'm not entirely certain. I don't have a Mac. And then we're going to scroll down, and there at the very bottom is the mode. And I'm going to hold down my Control button or my Command button and click. And there it should show mean, median, and mode over there on the right. That's perfect. And then you just say compute. And there they are. They're in this box right here. So all you have to do is highlight this box. Oh, and don't be surprised if mode can be a few things. Mode can not happen, so it'll say no mode. Or you could have several modes, which is what I have. Or you could have an actual mode with a number. So don't be surprised. Whatever it says, don't worry about it. As we discussed in the notes, mode's kind of a terrible measure of center, but nevertheless, we found it. All right. So there's no fancy way to copy this. You just kind of highlight the whole thing. So I'm just kind of making it all highlighted by holding down my mouse button and dragging it along. So the whole thing is blue. It's highlighted. And I hit Control C or Command C on a Mac. And then I go back here and I click in the box and I Command V or Control V. And there's the box. It's got my mean. It's got my median. It's got my modes or lack thereof. All done. Okay, so now judging from those answers, I should say, those numbers, is your data set skewed left, skewed right, or symmetric? Now that comes from the notes. We learned about that. Oh, I need to make this whole thing bigger. Sorry about that. So there we go. Now you can see it. Okay, so judging from is it skewed left, skewed right, or symmetric? Okay, so that's in the notes in section 3.1. You'd gauge whether or not you're skewed left based on the mean is less than the median, or you're symmetric if your mean and median are pretty close together, or you're skewed right if your mean is greater than your median. So hopefully you took good notes on that page. So it's a judgment call though. So how much bigger is big enough to be skewed? That's a judgment call you have to make. That's not something I can make for you. It's something you have to decide. But you want it to be significantly larger to be skewed right, significantly smaller to be skewed left, and so on. So I'm just going to say, see the table in the notes. Here we go. All right, and don't forget to explain. So you'd say, skewed left because of this, skewed right because of this. So see table in the notes, section 3.1 notes, for skewing left, skewing right, and how to explain it. Is your mean less than your median, your mean greater than your median, and so on. Next, we're going to construct a histogram of our data set with StatCrunch. We're going to include the markers for mean and median. Ooh, that's exciting. All right, so let's go back here, and you can leave this table up. It's not hurting you, or you can close it if you don't like it there. So we're going to go to Graph and Histogram. And I have to do the same column, so I've got to scroll down and find my AB at bats. And then down here, I'm going to turn on the markers for mean and median. So I'm going to click the little boxes right there. And then I'm going to say compute. And there they are. So if you let your mouse hover, or your cursor, I keep saying mouse, sorry. You let your cursor hover, you can see the mean is 5,869, and the median is the red one. That's the 6,808. So you can really see the gap between the two here. And that can also help you gauge whether your mean is less than your median, which it is in my case. And then you're going to click copy. So options copy. Right click on the image, we've done this before, copy the image, and then go back to our document and Control V or Command V and paste it in. Don't worry if it ruins the page, it's fine. Just have it in there. All right, so there's your beautiful graph with your markers for green for mean and red for median. All right, so now does your graph support your answer? So I just did the mean and the median for fun, but the answer in my case is actually yes, but it's a little weird. My graph is particularly strange, but it could be a yes, it could be a no. So you could say yes, you know, I thought it was skewed left and blah, 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 right? The tail is to the left and yada, yada, right? Or no, I thought it was skewed left, but, and you explain. So it can work out either way. I've seen it both ways. You know, sometimes a student thinks it's going to be skewed left, but it actually kind of comes out symmetric. Or sometimes they think it'll be skewed right, but it's symmetric. Or they think it'll be symmetric, but it's skewed. You know, it's okay if it's yes, but explain. And it's okay if it's a no, but explain. Make sure you explain what's happening and what you see in your graph. And that's pretty much it. So now what you have to do is save and upload the file. Okay, so it's automatically saved because it's a Google document. So if you're in Google Documents, it's saved, not a problem. But you want to be able to upload it. Now, the options are to download it as a PDF and upload that PDF. Or the easier way is just to click Share over here. You click Share, you change it from restricted to anyone with the link is a viewer. You copy the link right here where it says Copy Link. And then you go in here, view it as a student. Sorry, I have to see it as you. And then you click web URL or upload. Upload would be a PDF, so you'd have to know where you saved it and upload the PDF. Web URL is a website, so you just go in here, Control V, and it takes it a second. And then I click Submit. Confetti, yay! It all worked out. I've got it. So that one's done. All right, hope that helps.